races getting together and not fighting. That is the problem. What do you fear? What do you fear of letting it go?
What do you take instead of alcohol?
What do I take? Nothing. Instead of alcohol?
Why?
I don't need anything.
Look at.
I don't need anything. I'm high on hope. I'm high on hope. I don't need anything. Drugs.
20 years ago, when this music first came to the UK, it made a big impact on me and a lot of people. I think it shaped the type of person I was, or I am, and I was supposed to go to university and maybe work in a bank or do something, and this music came along and totally changed my life. Not just the music, the whole scene around it. And for about 15 years I was making a living from this music, selling the music, making the music as a DJ, and then when I decided I wanted to stop doing that and decided I wanted to make films, this was the first film I wanted to make. I wanted to explore why this was so important to me and so many people. Having no money. Nobody would give me any money to make the film. The two things that were a challenge. First of all, I'd never made a film before I made this film. This is the first time I ever picked up a camera was to try and make this film. So I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't got a clue. And I just started filming people, and because I knew the story, it was something I knew very well. The telling the story was easy. It was learning actually how to use a camera and physically do that. That was hard. 10 years ago, and I was interviewing people. Everybody kept telling me there's this one guy that was at these parties who had an old video camera, and he used to film the parties. Now, in those days, nobody had cameras. Nobody had video cameras. Nobody had cameras on their phones, you know. And all these parties were illegal. So if someone did bring out a camera, boom, you know, the organizer would be saying, no, don't film it. So, but this guy was a friend of the organizers, and his parents had a shop, a country shop, one of these shops where they sell everything from food to toiletries, and they also had a video camera that they used to rent out for weddings and christenings and things. And if it wasn't rented out, he would take it out the shop, film the parties, and then put the camera back in the shop. He hadn't given anybody his footage. He was very, very protective. But when he knew that I used to go to the parties, and he understood that I was making a real film, not a sensational film, he gave me the footage. I can answer that in two parts. I think music, every single society around the world, even indigenous ones that we discover who've had no contact with other societies, have music. They have music and dancing. There is something about human beings that when we hear that beat, it gets us inside and we have to move. So I think music is something innate inside all of us, and when we hear it and it resonates inside us, it brings something out. So I think that is the big point. I think the big thing about this film is music can also be used for community. It brings people together. It gives them a commonality, a way that they can celebrate together through dancing or through just listening or being in the same room. And I think human beings, we like that. We like community. Community is really important. When I made this film, Margaret Thatcher, who was in charge of the country then, very right-wing, very tough, she'd killed community. And one of the important things about this film is it created a community again. People were celebrating together through music, and I think that's another reason that music's really important. Okay, so there's two things, I think. First of all, it was really important to document this time. There was a revolution in Britain, not a political revolution, but a revolution in terms of people's minds were opened. They challenged the police, they challenged the authorities because they wanted to meet and express themselves, and a lot of people's lives, their eyes were open. So I wanted to capture that time. But the message I think that's really important from this film is, if the government that's in charge is threatened by something, even just by a type of music, they will stop at nothing to crush it. And it's really dangerous. And I think we have to always keep our mind, or keep our eyes on the people who run our country, because they work for us. We don't work for them, yeah? And we need to be careful that they don't misuse their power. And 20 years ago, they misused their power to stop something that they didn't understand.